here today. As you can see in the background, we've got an amazing workshop going on, and we're engaging the LGBTQ plus community and a bit of their chosen families and allies actually about end-of-life care, aging well, and health services that maybe is probably not previous to them, maybe not discussed about, and there's a lot of things I'm learning. I need to get my will sorted out actually. If you're seeing this future time, you need to get your will sorted. But yeah, a lot of amazing insights and creative activity.
We know from research and, let's be honest, just through conversations, that there are lots of barriers to the LGBT community accessing specialist end-of-life care services, but also there are lots of barriers, multi-layered barriers, to people actually starting to have conversations around wishes around end of life as well. That can be through historical events, through personal journeys, through traumatic events that stop people trying to think about it and stop those conversations happening. So this is about creating a really safe space where people can have exploratory conversations, ask those questions that people really want to ask but too scared to ask, and just give people that opportunity to have those discussions.
We've been exploring all things end of life and getting ready for a good ending, really, and that's been all about communication. My role's been specifically looking at the legal side of it, so preparing a valid will that's suitable for now rather than perhaps something that was suitable 20, 30 years ago, and also looking at lasting powers of attorney so that should we lose capacity before we die, then we've got things in place to make sure that we're properly cared for, our finances are looked after, and we can keep going as long as possible with the assistance of somebody we know and trust and love.
We've actually commissioned some amazing artists from the LGBTQ plus community from the area or who work in this area, and they've been capturing the sharings, the learnings, conversations, and that should be represented through either a poem, spoken word, a song, or anything along those lines, maybe some music without lyrics as well.
Don't cry, I made my bed, now cover me in the earth. I'll smile while I rejoin the fabric of the universe. This is time to celebrate everything I was. My body may be laid to rest, but my legacy is never gone. If I'm gonna go out, I'll go the way I want, living life until the end. That may leave a sour taste in your mouth, but it made my peace, my friend. If you don't like it, that ain't my fault. Your happiness ain't mine too. Everyone's got the picture of paradise, I'm ready to call mine home. I know it might be hard for you to let go of me now. I promise I won't be far away, just speak my name out loud. You hold precious memories, remember me at my best. Talk to me at the end of the day, you're always gonna be my friend. If I'm gonna go out, I'll go the way I want, living life until the end. That may leave a sour taste in your mouth, but I made my peace, my friend. If you don't like it, that ain't my fault. Your happiness ain't mine too. Everyone's got the picture of paradise, I'm ready to call mine home. We all got a plan someday, we won't walk this world again. Please don't be afraid for me, 'cause I'm no longer scared. I know it leaves a bitter taste, so keep this goodbye sweet. I've got my paradise, so smile when you think of me. Thank you.
Yeah, I had a bit of a laugh when the producer, Tom Nelson, called me up to be like, I've got something with you in mind. It's for the LGBTQI plus community and it's talking about death. So I was like, all right, that's my USP now, is it? Death and being gay. But I know exactly why he reached out to me, and that's because I personally, when I was a young person, experienced death quite early in my life with a parental figure, and I had to become okay with processing or finding ways to process grief, loss, traumatic loss, and had to be okay with finding ways to talk or express the seemingly unexpressible and the extremely, extremely taboo.
Living authentically is a challenge that a lot of us battle with through our whole lives. So you can imagine how much more of a challenge it is to also die authentically, or to be remembered authentically as who you truly are. How exciting that we can have these really these needed conversations, and perhaps these conversations that don't normally exist, or there isn't space being made for them, but they are being made space for here in spaces like this.
Sometimes we die. For the final time, we take our last breath through our body. And other times we die, but we're still alive. An old version of us just ceases to be. Yes, sometimes we end and we're burned or we're buried. Others, it's just in the way that we're perceived. Whether we die physically or in the eyes of our family, we become what we were waiting to be. Either way, something stops wanting to go on anymore. Let them mourn. Yes, we're no longer what we were before, but that is when we transform. The grace of release. See how we expand into what the soil or our soul needs. However we die, sure, let them cry, but look at what is freed. We explode into shards of pain. We radiate outwards as grief. We become the anger of our loved ones. We sigh into memories. We become our colors, thrown into the starkest contrast. We are unrecognizable, and we become seen. We become the unexpressed love of those who want to know us, and that turns us into our legacy. We spiral outwards into aspirations and inspiration. We transition into the cause. We transform into stories, tributes, into legends that go on. But there is no pause, because this cause does not stop, and nor do we. We only get bigger. This infinity that we are part of, we become everything again. Every molecule of air, exactly how we started. We're no longer a corpse or a decomposing soul trapped in the coffin of a secret. The muscles of our grip now know to let go. We no longer have to keep it. May our next death be surrender. May our next death make us impossible to hold. Because the expansiveness of who we are transcends every mold. We are multiple, we are scattered, we are fluid. We pervade every particle of the world. However we next die, let them cry, but also let them watch us unfurl.
I've shaped a few creative writing exercises based off of what we've been talking about, which has heavily been about listening and how we really, really listen to our loved ones when they're talking to us about this, and how hard that listening can be. So a few of the creative exercises have been about deeply, actively listening to the person in front of you.
People of LGBT experience often are confronted with the challenges of rethinking the unthinkable, challenging or running straight through the taboos. So when it comes to a taboo like death, we can rethink death. We can create it for our own needs in a beautiful way, in a needed way. We can reinvent traditions, because many people in the communities have had to do that through all sorts of ways. So this has been quite inspiring, to be quite honest, to be part of difficult conversations like these. All the speakers that we've had in to talk about all sorts of ways in which we can approach death, end of life care, all these things. There's been a lot of brightness and optimism, and I'm excited to see how these things can be moved forward.